Hello, it's Oopsie Annie. I'm sitting outside my house in Clearbrook, Minnesota, and I've just returned from a wonderful class on sourdough. How to make sourdough bread with Tracy Juvie. And this is Living Local Women. These classes that we get once a month are free due to a grant. And it was like a feast. For the eyes, the ears, and the mind. I came home with sourdough starter. Oh gosh, when my daughter was in first grade, I had sourdough starter. I remember that, and I think I made a loaf of bread. Gosh, it's like a fuzzy memory. I wasn't ready yet, and I'm hoping I'm ready now to go down this sourdough bread and cracker making journey. It really is amazing how it gets made and how inexpensive it is to make sourdough bread. And because of the way it is made, I'm hoping someone like me who is sensitive to gluten can tolerate it. Now, I sampled a lot of bread and crackers today with the wonderful cheeses. You should have let me show you a picture of our tasting table.
She just brought it over to my house and said, "Here, Tracy, I brought you some starter." So I'm like, "Oh, I'll make sourdough bread." So that's how I started. I've made it before in the past and I've let my starter go, but so I've been making, I'd say, good 9 months. I'm not a pro. I'm just going to talk about the basics, and I'm going to try to leave out all the hard terms so that when you go home, you'll make bread, because I think that's why people are so afraid of sourdough bread. You can't mess it up. You really can't. But if you start talking about the percentages of water, the baker's percentages, the hydration, the auto lisping, it's going to scare you. So we're not going to do that. So one of the first tools you need is to mix your dough. I use my hands, but I also have what's called a Danish dough whisk. I don't know if you've seen them. They're about this long, and they have a wire that comes around and swirls in, and it comes back down into the spoon. And this makes the dough go through it. This has been proofing since yesterday, probably at noon. This is how it works. Right before you bake it, you should do a proof test where if you push down on it, my hands are sticky now, it should come back up. 150 degrees, and you want your Dutch oven to be 450 degrees as well. You want it to be hot. So we're going to dump this after it's been proofed.
Okay, but just remember that cloth has been floured.
Yep. We'll go over that when we make one. So this is my beautiful cotton. I love it. Love it. So this is what it looks like. It's not quite like bread with yeast. It's kind of a letdown to look at because it doesn't have the same puffiness. It almost looks dead or flat. I feel like when I put flour on it, it gets a crustier cover. When you take it out of the fridge, this has been sitting out already for a while. I like to let it sit out on the counter at least for an hour before I bake it. I feel like it rises better in the oven. I don't know if it does or not. There's really no recipe that says to do that. It's just like if you go to look at tips and tricks or whatever. And then when you want to score it, you should use your knife, your little fancy lame. I don't have that, but I have a razor blade. I just score it once. I feel like that makes it look pleasant coming out of the oven. And they say you should cut it at a 45-degree angle so you get an ear. If you get an ear on your bread, then you've mastered it. An ear is when it explodes, it comes up, and then it just looks crispy. So I'm going to score it here. Oh, a good 1/4 inch. You don't want to go too light. I mean my bread and stick it in there. I add water. You put water in the stove at the bottom, or you can spray it. I like to spray the bejeebers out of it.
Don't have to look at it.
It gives it a nice crust, and it makes it really moist. On your scale, I think that's it. Make sure it's in grams. It's in ounces, so tip the units. So you're gonna set your jar on your scale, and then you're gonna zero it out. Perfect. Now you're gonna pour ever so gently 35 grams of starter.
35 grams. Okay.
That's gonna give us about 100 grams. You're fine. And if you're off, it does not matter if you're
36
over.
grams.
36
grams. So a 1 to 1 to 1, it means your starter will feed backwards. I fed this morning. This was a 1 to 1 to 1. It's 35, 35, 35. And it's ready in about 4 hours. Now,
Wow.
you're not gonna bake until like 10 o'clock at night. You wanna give it more food to last longer. It's like this was one meal. It was ready at noon. So if you're gonna go through 3 meals, you're gonna need to feed it for enough for 3 meals. So I would take 35 grams and I'd go 1, 3, 3. So I did 35 grams of starter. I'd do 70 grams of water. No, I would do 105. What's 35, 35, and 35? I would do 105 grams of flour and 105 grams of water. I did one meal. 1 to 1 to 1 is like one meal for your starter to eat. 1 to 2 would be you could go twice as long as this. See, now by noon this will start to fall. But if I do like 1 to 3 to 3, it'll last till 9 o'clock and it will rise until 9 o'clock. And so let's say, for example, you were gonna bake tonight and so you fed it like 1, 3, 3 in the morning. Let's say, and then you got home and you didn't. And it was like 10 o'clock, I'm like, no, I'm gonna do, just feed your starter that night. You can feed it the same thing. You could do 1 to 5, 1 to 3, 1 to 1, and if you're gonna bake in the morning. Just, if you feed your starter twice a day, it makes it even stronger. But you can't mess it up. You literally, no, it will. And that's where you start. And that's where you start to add that extra in here.
I see.
And get it back down. And you can either throw it away or you can save it.
How much are you starting with this? How much starter?
We're going to do 100 grams of starter.
100 grams of starter.
Smells good.
Ew. It does smell good.
Dump it all. I know because I made enough.
So is this, am I making this for a loaf of bread now?
Yep, you are. If you want, you could probably take it home and bake it too if you want.
Yeah. I'd like to give it a try.
So yeah, about 2 of those. 2 and a half.
And this is Celtic salt. It's rough texture.
Bread. You can keep going.
I should tell you too though, this is actually not the same height as mine, and I don't know if this cooks like my stove at my house.
Every stove's different.
So I'm gonna take it off.
Oh, that's pretty.
So this is what it looks like. Now we're gonna put it in for 20 minutes, and it's just an idea. We want this middle piece to get really, really, really dark, almost burnt. I mean, in 20 minutes, if it's not, we're gonna keep baking it. And you don't want the inside doughy. That's just not what you want. So we're gonna stick it in here. And I don't even know what this recipe called for, but every recipe is between 400 and 450. I've taken the same recipe, I've done 400, I've done 500, I've done 20 minutes. I cannot tell the difference. I don't think you can screw it up. If you accidentally put your oven on at the wrong temperature, just leave it. It's not gonna matter. It really isn't.
Yeah, I would like to watch.
So it's going to be so much stretchy. It's going to be so nice. You just pull it up. Look at that.
So I sprayed her hands with water.
And then just put it over to the side. And then do that 3 more times. Then do it, pull up here. You can shake it a little to
Can I
stretch it,
shake
but
it?
do not break it.
What if you break it?
Well, you're breaking your gluten strings, and then it won't rise as well.
Okay.
So we're
You
grabbing
spray your
it.
hand first.
Oh yeah.
Get it done right. Then I'll come help you. And now turn. Oh, you did. Yep. Now lift it up and shake it right there, and just shake it to stretch it a little. Beautiful. Go all the way over itself. There. You don't have to do it inaccurate, and then you can still make a loaf. I don't even know what I did with this one. I had just read that this guy used when you get used to it and you use baker's percentages. He just threw in whatever flour he was using up. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing that. So that's what this is. It's got about 3 different flours in it because I was trying to use it up.
It was good. Life here is awfully sweet, I gotta tell you, out in the country. We get to pay for it with our cold winters though. And it is, the leaves on the trees are just about gone. Let's see, about a few days out from Halloween. I don't have it very well decorated. My little ghost that used to be up in the window fell, so I just don't want to decorate like I used to, but I should try a little better for the neighborhood kids, because we do have some awesome neighborhood kids, and I want them to have a good time trick-or-treating and have some things to see. See here, I do have a dead fish hanging from a tree. Right there, there's fish bones. And I got some skeleton thingies here. I think this one has eyes that light up. Is it lighting up? Wait. Oh no! Oh no! Oh wait, I see it, you see it? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I decided to record the class kinda too late. I didn't bring my little sound microphone wandy thing that I use when I do recordings for videos, Oopsie Annie videos, but I'm hoping it works out. One of the big reasons I decided to record a lot of what was happening was so that I personally would remember, and then anybody that was at the class could then also watch the video and maybe refresh themselves a little bit. But truth be told, I could do a better job recording if I'd been more prepared, and well, that's just the way it is. But I hope you all are out there enjoying the fall. I'm a little tired. I have a little anemia going, so maybe I don't look my best on camera today, but you know, we're gonna get this blood situation worked out, and I should look perkier next time. I hope. Love all life around you. Be inspired. Be grateful. Birth joy. Mwah!